Let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Answers from an Actuary. Today we are welcoming again Marc-Edouard Kernisant. He is a fellow with the Society of Actuaries, and he is currently a team leader in group underwriting at Desjardins Insurance. I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his background while people are starting to jump in. If you want, put in the chat where you're joining us from. I am in Chicago, and Mark, who has asked us to call him Teddy, you are, where are you?
I'm in Montreal,
In
Canada.
in
Yeah.
Montreal, Canada. So in the chat, you can let us know where you're coming from so we can see
Say
where,
where you're from, and if you
yeah.
can, add a flag. Rep
Um,
where you're from.
let me know. Hold on. I know I want to make sure that you all can. Okay. I've enabled the IED. Not, not sure what that is.
I know this LED or IED. I don't know
Yeah,
where that is. You're
I
gonna
don't
have
know.
to you're gonna have to be a bit more specific.
Yeah, Irina. Montreal, another Montreal person.
Yeah,
Texas, Nevada. Oh
Texas,
my
New
goodness.
York, Las
From
Vegas.
literally
That's awesome.
everywhere. Literally everywhere. Is that
JM.
Jamaica or
Oh my God, would that be Jamaica?
I'm not sure. I mean, sorry if we
If it
got
is,
that
I'm
wrong.
jealous. Oh, the chat is
Um,
disabled.
yes, Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Yay.
That's
Oh,
so cool. Oh my God, we're international here.
yes, we are very, very international. Tampa,
Tampa,
Florida, all over the
another one
place.
making me jealous. Okay.
Very cool.
I mean, it's a sunny day here in Montreal, but it's not super warm. I don't know what the temperature is in Fahrenheit. It's like 11 degrees Celsius, which, let's see.
Probably in the 50s or six or
So
mid
let me tell you.
50s.
I'll, let me see if Google can be quick. Fahrenheit. 51. Oh, you're good. Yeah,
Yeah.
51.8.
Yeah.
A little chilly, but
I grew up in Spain where we use centigrades too. And my first years in the United States, I was all turned around with the temperature, but now I don't know how to convert it exactly, but I know what the feeling, the
about,
temperature.
yeah,
Uh,
I hear you.
all right. We're talking a little bit. Enter anybody who has joined. You can, if you want to enter where you're joining us from, that would be great. Before we get going, I'm going to do some housekeeping things. Um, we are going to answer the questions in the order in which they are received. So whenever you want, there's a button at the bottom of your screen that is a question mark and it says Q&A underneath. Click on that and enter your question. And as I said, we will respond to them in the order in which they are received. If you answer a question that has already been answered, we are not going to cover duplicate questions because it's a waste of your time and ours. But we will try to get through as many as we can. So without further ado, I'm going to let Teddy introduce himself, give you a little bit of background, and then we will start answering questions. I am going to put in the chat my email address in case any of you have any questions later or you need anything from me, or you have any questions or you have any difficulties with this website. Just let me know. Okay, without further ado, Teddy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marissa, for having me back. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Marc-Edouard Kernisant. I go by Teddy. I'm based in Montreal, Canada. I studied actuarial math at the University of Montreal, graduated in 2008, and I've been working in the group benefits space since then. So a little over 17 years. And I did a bunch of different roles. I started my career in group underwriting at a national carrier, Sun Life. Worked at a couple of advisor firms, always in Montreal. And I joined Desjardins, where I currently work, in 2019. First as a pricing actuary, so a very traditional role back in 2019. And after 3.5 years in that role, I got an opportunity to get into a leadership position in 2022, and that's when I went back to group underwriting, but in a management capacity. Recently got my FSA. Got my FSA much later than the average, I would say. I got my FSA at the ripe age of 40 last year. And my journey towards the FSA was not necessarily the smoothest one. So you guys probably see like a lot of these posts where people were like, "Oh, I've been studying for the last 6 years. It was tough." Mine was definitely more than 6 years. So I wrote my first actuarial exam back in. Thank you, Arena. I wrote my first actuarial exam back in 2007 when I was still in university. I wrote I wrote FM as my first exam in May 2007 and then P in August 2007. So the first two exams that I wrote, I passed on the first try. I was really excited. I was really on a high of passing two exams. And that's the most success that I had with exams on the first try for the whole journey. Because after that, things got like a little bit tougher. My third exam, it's not an exam that exists anymore, exam MLC. Failed it once, passed it on the second attempt. Then exam MFE, that doesn't exist anymore, failed it twice, passed it on the third attempt. Long story short, got my ASA in 2013. So a little bit longer than some people, but not too long. It took me about 6, 7 years, whatever. And fun fact, because the ASAs are usually effective on a Friday, my ASA was effective on the day that I got married. So I got to celebrate two things on that day. That was awesome. And I'm still married, so that we're happy about that. So I got my ASA in 2013, and then switched roles. I went through an actual role at that point. It was at a consulting firm, but I'm not gonna get too deep into it. Maybe we can talk about it later. But actuarial consulting was not for me. And then I was in a bunch of other non-traditional roles that didn't have an actuarial support program. So it didn't make sense to write FSA exams at that point, right? Because I didn't get the financial support, the study days, and everything. So pretty much up until 2019, I still had that desire to write exams, but I was in a bunch of other roles where I didn't have the support. So when I finally joined Desjardins in 2019, that's when I was like, okay, you know what? Let me get back into writing exams. And I was at the FSA exams at that point. And I had tried one like before I left that last actuarial role. I had tried one in 2014. I didn't pass it. I got a 4 on that exam, my first attempt at an FSA exam. 2019, 5 years later, I'm back. I have one daughter, and she's about a year old, a year and a half, and I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm in a pricing role. I'm surrounded by other actuaries, a bunch of my fellows. I'm like, this is it. I'm in the right environment to get to my FSA. Well, life had other plans. Basically, from 2019 to 2025, trying, failing, passing one, trying, failing. Took me 5, 6 years to pass those 3 FSA exams, which wasn't easy. I thought about quitting numerous times. As I was getting older, we had a second daughter. The pandemic happened, so being at home with 2 young kids and studying at the same time. At one point, it wasn't necessarily the easiest thing on the mental health. Um, but honestly, my story is one of like, you know what? I never was like the straight A students or the one that had like really, really high grades. But if you're willing to like just keep going and keep going and keep going, then eventually you get there. And today I'm so grateful and thankful that I stuck to it. Got my FSA, as I said last year, really, really proud, really, really happy. And I mean, this summer was the first summer where I was like, oh, wait a minute, like I'm not studying for the fall. Like I don't have that like looming in the back of my mind anymore. I was able to like enjoy things that like shows that came out like 10 years ago. I started watching Breaking Bad, which is a show that maybe some of you don't haven't even heard of, but it came out in 2013 or 2014. But I'm enjoying it now, guilt free, because you know what? I don't have to study. Um, and yeah, things are going well at work. So yeah, that's a bit about me. Don't want to take too much time. I definitely want to leave time for people to ask their questions and cover specifically what you guys want to talk about.
Those are very, I really like that you pointed out that it's about consistency and not giving up because we
Yeah.
know that the pathway is not easy, but it is about keep it going and keep trying and you will get there as you did. And Breaking Bad is an amazing show, by the way. Um,
Almost
let's
season two. That's great.
let's get going with our questions. We have our first question is, have you seen changes in diversity within the actuarial profession over the years?
Ah, Sitsuda. Sitsuda is actually a colleague of mine, so she's pretending like we don't know each other, but her and I are close. Um, yeah, that's such a great question. And like I think in the during 20 I think it came out in 2020 where like with everything that was happening with the murder of George Floyd, like a lot of organizations were trying to they had like this awakening of like, you know what, let's try to look at where we're at in terms of diversity. And correct me if I'm wrong, Marta, but I think that's when the SOA started publishing diversity stats on like what the membership looks like, the number of fellows that are Black, Latinx, Asian, and Caucasian, and everything.
Mhm.
And for me, the one thing that always, I mean, of course, as a Black man, like seeing the discrepancy between the proportion of Black fellows, I think it hovers around like 2.5 to 3% every time it comes out. So I think that there's definitely more diversity in the pipeline. Like the actual profession is one that is more and more popular. There's more diversity in the pipeline now. But like if you look at the level of people that are FSAs or the people that are in senior leadership positions, right now it's still, in my opinion, fairly concentrated between Asian and whites, which is something that like I think with future generations we can change that. Um, there's two things: increase the pipeline, and then once you get that diversity in the pipeline, it's how can you get those people to stay, to want to continue in the profession? Because yeah, there's a huge barrier of entry to get to the FSA level. It's not easy. And if you're at the starting line, and then you look at everybody else, like the VPs or the executives, or even the young FSAs, and you're like, well, nobody looks like me. You might be tempted to not pursue it, right? And that's something that personally was a big motivation for myself when I realized, oh, wait a minute, like I don't see that many FSAs that look like me, or even FCIAs here in Canada that look like me. I maybe just me finishing my exams could be something that could inspire the next generation, right? So I think the future is promising. but there's definitely more work to be done.
Absolutely. Our next our next question is from your friend again. What's one thing you wish more people understood about being a Black actuary?
Oh, good one, good one. I'm gonna go back to something that I just mentioned. It can sometimes it felt a little bit lonely, like on the pathway. It's a double-edged sword because on the one hand you stand out because okay, there's not that many of us, so it could be a positive that I could use to stand out and to really use it as my calling card. On the flip side, um, it can be lonely, right? And I definitely don't want to make this whole conversation about race or anything like that. But it is a reality that sometimes you're like, oh, like where are my people? Where are there other actuaries that are in the same boat as me that have a same upbringing as me that can relate to what some of the things that I can say or my culture, and that's why I joined the International Association of Black Actuaries, just finding other like-minded Black actuaries, people that can understand like where I'm coming from, the struggles, and um, people that like are yeah in the same situation as me. So I would say it's great. I love it. I love the profession. I love the people that I work with. Sometimes a little bit lonely, but at the same time, I'm very, I have a positive outlook because I see so much diversity in the pipeline of actuaries that are coming into the profession. So that's how I feel.
Good. I am going to let other people ask questions too. It's I see
Yeah,
Sophia.
I told Sosuda that I was doing this, and so she had plenty of questions that she like prepared in advance. So
Which is
Sosuda,
great.
I'll answer your questions one on one afterwards.
If we have time, we will go back to her, but I wanted to give other
Definitely.
people a chance. The next question is, as someone who did not take any calculus classes in university, I am a bit late to the exam game. I did not know about actuarial science until I was well into my first few months into the insurance field. How did you suggest studying for those who may not be confident in their first exam? Resources you recommend, type commitment. Are there standalone classes you recommend?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, okay, depending on if you're in Canada or the US, I'm gonna answer this in two parts, depending if you're in Canada or the US. If you are not in Canada, or even if you are in Canada, um, you don't necessarily need to have a math degree or a degree in actual mathematics to pursue the profession. I had an employee last year, an underwriter in Toronto, that had a bachelor's in finance, and he's currently working now as an actuarial analyst at in PNC Insurance. I forget which company he's working for now. There's like that's before my time, but people used to like not even there wasn't such a thing as a bachelor's in actuarial math. People would graduate in math, stats, finance, or whatever, and then just start studying the exams to become qualified actuaries. Um, so for the first couple of exams, the prelim exams, most of the studying materials that people use are, yeah, I mean, TIA, the Infinite Actuary, they offer a free resource for the first two exams. There's coaching actuaries that people use a lot. And it's a boring answer that everybody gives, but like for those exams, it's just do as many practice problems as you can. drill it down because until like the material becomes second nature, and then you can pass it. The thing is though, like I said, I wrote my first exams in 2007, so it's a while ago. So um, I can't remember clearly if you not having a calculus background would be an issue to study for these exams. It depends how well you learn on your own, but like if you buy one of these packages from one of these vendors, whether it's coaching actuaries, TIA, Actex, or whatever, all the information is there. And if you're able to learn it and understand it on your own, great. If you need outside help, there's a lot of resources by now, like on YouTube. Um, there's one person that I know as well that's on the chat right now. She studied just with free resources on YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm sure she's smiling right now because I'm not gonna call her out, but like she knows I'm talking about her. And she managed to pass the exam without using one of those paid vendors at all, just based on YouTube. I think she's like exceptionally smart, but it's possible, it's doable, right? Um, so yeah, that's what I would say. Best of luck to you. If you are Canadian, um, having an actuarial degree in Canada definitely helps because the Canadian Institute of Actuaries came out with their own exam system where if you have an actuarial degree from a Canadian recognized university, then after that, there's fewer exams to do to get your associateship. So I would look into that depending on where you are, if you're in Canada or the US, and which pathway you want to take to get qualified.
Thank you. I am putting some resources as you speak on the chat.
Perfect.
And yes, if you go to the Infinite Actuary website, I put the link in the chat. You can see that they have made the PNFM courses free. So I would go check it out. And for any of you who are not affiliate members, the affiliate membership is free and it does have online courses. All the resources included are also free. And we put in there a calculus class and some other resources for people that might be coming in from not directly from college, but from other disciplines or, people that might be jumping into the exam pathway as career changers. So check it out. It's free, as I said, and all the resources are free.
Cool.
Let's see. The next question is, were there any changes in exam strategies upon pursuing fellowship compared to pursuing your associateship?
Oh, absolutely. Most people that go all the way to fellowship will tell you that the exams are very different between the prelims and the FSA level exams, just based on the fact that the prelim exams are they're multiple choice, and it's you either have the right answer or you don't. The FSA level exams, they're written answer, so it's not as clear cut as your answer is correct or not correct. It's more like, okay, out of like everything that you could have said on that answer, what did you list? What did you not list? Like, I've never corrected an FSA level exams, but you can look up the information is there. Like the graders have like they call it a grading sort of like a
Rubric.
table of like, okay, yeah, a rubric. Thank you. And like, okay, you answered these three aspects of the five aspects that we expected on the question, so you'll get X amount of credit for it. So in terms of studying, um, like there's not the sheer level of questions that you can find for exam P and FM or the other prelims. Like it's as if it's unlimited the number of questions that you can do. For an FSA level exams, you can't just like do like a million practice problems and hope to pass. You have to it's more about getting a fundamental understanding of the material, really understanding it well, and then how can you apply it. So it's a different way of studying. There's more stuff that you have to learn by heart, stuff that you have to understand. So it kind of exercises your brain a little bit differently. But what I will say, like in hindsight, is I think that they're both tough. Like we always talk about the FSA level exams as if they're the hardest thing ever, and like the associateship exams are easy. I don't think they're easy, to tell you the truth. I think they're both hard, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. You can do hard things, um, and the studying is different. But sometimes, okay, you can get as much preparation as you can. Try to look out what does the exam look like, and at the end of the day, just the best practice you'll get is to try one, study for it as best as you can. If you pass on the first attempt, congratulations, great, that's awesome. If you don't, then at least you're you're that much closer for next time. I think for me, a big aha moment was when I realized that like even if you don't pass an exam, next time around, like you're not starting from the same point as when you started for the first attempt. Like there's a lot of material or knowledge about the exam and of how to perform on it that you've gathered. So if your next attempt is slightly easier, and then if you have to do a third attempt, that one's going to be slightly easier as well. So um, just don't be afraid to just try it, and then you'll see what it's like. It's the best way to figure out how to study.
Very good. And then along the same lines about exams, our next question is, do you struggle with test anxiety? And if so, how do you manage it?
So I think that one is definitely personal. It depends how you are. If you're somebody that was stressed before exams in college, in general, I was always the type of person that I would be nervous right before the exam started. Like that those first 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the exam, and then maybe the 5 minutes when the exam starts. But then, luckily for me, I would get into a flow, and I don't usually have nerves that really cripple me during an exam. Um, Now let me be clear, like it's not as if like I do the exam and I'm as comfortable as if I was like, I don't know, walking down a park or chatting with friends. But in general, I'm the type of person that like gets nervous leading up to the exam, but during the exam, I'm okay. Um, so it depends the type of person that you are.
Yeah.
If you do deal with anxiety before, during an exam, I'm not going to reveal anything that's like that you haven't heard before, but maybe because I'm 41 years old, so I'm a bit wiser than older and some of you. Take care of your body. That's probably the best tip that I can give everybody here. Your mental state is a direct reflection of your physical state. So if you can take care of your body, it'll help take care of your nerves and how you show up. And if I mean, if you can be physically fit, you're actually like you get a competitive advantage over somebody that isn't physically fit. So um, that is something that like when I was studying, and full disclosure, I never got to the level of fitness that I wanted for myself while I was studying. But I was always like, oh, you know what? Like, if I can be more fit, then like maybe I'll like have more chances of passing the exam, right? So um, that's definitely something you can focus on to help with nerves.
For sure. I've also heard other actuaries talk about do some of those practice exams in different places, other than your
Mm-hmm.
room, like maybe go to Starbucks or somewhere that is a little busier and louder. So you are used to going through that process in a different environment, obviously, because you're going to take the exam, not in your bedroom or in your study or
Yeah,
whatever you do that.
I like
So
that. I like that tip. I like that tip.
yeah, that's good one. Irina wants to know if you have any advice for someone who is about to graduate with an MBA, has several actuarial internships, but has yet to pass an exam. Should I apply for jobs that are not actuarial while studying for the exams?
Thank you for your question, Irina. I'm going to assume that you're here because you're interested in the actuarial career. So don't sell yourself short. Even if you haven't passed an exam yet, if first of all you had internships, so that's already amazing, and you have an MBA. So I would absolutely keep on applying for jobs that are in the actuarial field. However, if you decide for yourself that you're okay with going into a job that's quote unquote non-traditional, so it's not you're not working with only just other actuaries and you're okay with that while you're working on exams, that's what I did. I mean, go for it. Sometimes it's just about like, what does the job market look like? What can you obtain? I've heard somebody say that before, and I agree. Sometimes finding your first actuarial position is the toughest part of your career as an actuary because it's you just have to like land that first job, and then once you do, like it becomes easier because you already have like work experience. Um, I definitely once you are in an actuarial position and there's other actuaries around you, either that are writing exams or that are qualified, I've noticed that it makes a difference in your motivation to want to pursue whatever qualification that you want to get, whether it's an associateship or you want to get all the way to the fellowship. I mean, it's a small sample, but if I look at my peer group of like the people that I went to college with, the ones that went all the way to the fellowship are the ones that landed an actuarial role earlier, and the ones even though that had fantastic grades in college, if they decided to work in something else that wasn't traditional actuarial work, at one point life gets in the way and you decide, you know what, it's not necessarily worth it for me to pursue the exams, which is totally okay. Um, but I wouldn't impose that limitation on myself. Like I would still apply, and if you manage to get an actuarial position, fantastic. If you don't, and you're okay with a job that comes your way, and you feel good about it, go for it and write these exams. Internships, exams, good grades. Those are the three things that help you get your first actuarial job. I had none of the three, but you have internships, so you already and an MBA. You already have like a good leg up. Some people don't have an internship, but they have exams. Some people have good grades and not the other two. So just keep on applying and be patient and see what comes your way.
Very good. I also heard recently from an um, recruiter in a big insurance firm that they also look if you are, even if you haven't passed an exam, if you are sitting for an exam, you can put in
Yeah,
your resume that you are sitting for an exam in December or October or whatever. So that might be something that you might want to consider getting registered and start preparing for one of the exams and include it in your resume. Okay,
absolutely.
next question is, how do you gain confidence in the actuarial space when you think differently? I love this question.
Uh, my girl Nikayla, she was at the last my last appearance, and we've kept in contact.
Oh, good.
Good to yeah, good to see you, Nikayla. Um, be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Don't be afraid uh, to be yourself. And that would be something that I would tell a younger brother, sister, cousin. When you show up in the workplace, it's important to be as authentic as you can be, because we spend a lot of our waking hours at work. And if you have to spend a lot of time putting on a mask, being different, not being yourself, it's gonna be so draining. That's gonna impact your well-being. It's gonna impact your ability to perform well at work. Easier said than done. If you're in an environment that you feel is not conducive to you being your true authentic self. I know it's easy for me to say this, but it's maybe not the best work environment for you right now, right? Um, and it doesn't mean go quit your job. It means maybe you need to like start on your plan to like figure out your exit strategy to go somewhere that aligns more with who you are, right? But definitely know that there is a job, an opportunity that exists where you will be there and you will be celebrated for the wonderful person that you are, and you just need to be patient and lucky enough to find it. Um, and for myself, like like I said, I started in group underwriting, and I wanted to be a pricing actuary for so long, and I I got into a pricing role when I was 11 years into my career, and so up until that, like before I got that pricing role, like I thought it wasn't gonna happen anymore. And
Mhm.
I remember I was talking to another actuary and he was like, I was describing the type of role that I wanted. He's like, okay, I see exactly what you want. And he had actually done that role in the past. It's like, yeah, it's a fun role. It's really interesting. I think you'd love it. He's like, Teddy, there's currently two insurance companies in Montreal that hire for that type of role. So like you need to cast a wider net and be open to like something else, right? Um, and I mean, I didn't know, but like a couple years later, I was working at one of those two insurance companies, which is the company where I'm at now. So I got lucky, but like I definitely had to be patient for it, right? And if you're like counting the days until you eventually land that dream role that you want, like life is going to be tough, right? So definitely, um, like I said, don't quit your job, pay your bills, but like um, try to get that belief deep inside that you will find that one role that really aligns with who you are and where you're celebrated for your authentic self. And in the meantime, make the best of where you are in that current season and see how you can make the best out of that situation.
Very, very good. I like that. The next question, we have time for maybe the last two questions.
Oh my
Congratulations
God.
on finishing
Okay.
your exams while working and having your kids. Do you have any
Thank
advice
you.
for someone starting their career who would like to have kids in the future?
Yeah. I would say, first of all, I'm going to assume that you have a partner if you want to have kids. Or maybe you don't have a partner, but you know that you want to have kids. But if you do have a partner now, and you're in a relationship, a committed relationship, have that conversation with them about the actuarial field, what it takes to be an actuary. Like, I don't know if the person that you're with, I'm going to assume that you're in a committed relationship, whether they know what it takes or you can explain it to them. Try to see if they can be supportive because um, the most the most important thing is your relationship. Your kids, their well being will depend on how good you and your partner are. And if you have a supportive partner that wants to see you succeed and get through all of the exams, whether it's to get to the associateship or all the way to fellowship, then it'll make the process 10 times easier. I remember there was one exam that I wrote in 2023 or 2024. I can't remember. And it was my second fellowship exam. I wrote it, and then I was like driving back home. And in the car, I was nervous because I was like, I have to go back home and tell my wife, I don't think I'm going to pass this exam, right? And I was nervous because I'm like, how am I going to tell her this? Because like I've been studying for months. We have two young girls at home and I have to tell her, yeah, I'm gonna have to take this exam again. So I was nervous. And honestly, that one conversation with my wife, she told me, you know what? I saw the effort that you've put in the last couple of months. You worked really, really hard. So um she was just supportive. She was like, you know what? I it's tough, but I see the effort that you put in. And to my wife, it was actually like, you know what? She'd rather it takes a little bit longer, but I go all the way. That way, it's like, okay, we didn't do all of these sacrifices in vain. Than to like, you know what, quit at one point just because it's taking too long. Like to her, at least now that I qualified, she's like, you know what, it was tough, but it was worth it. So I'm very very fortunate and lucky that I have a supportive partner. I think that's what it starts with, and then after that, just make sure that you do what works for you. If you're in a job that's like not too demanding, um, if you can study in the morning, study in the morning. If you can study at night, study at nights. Just work with the schedule that you have. It's possible no matter what phase in life that you're in, but you just need to figure out what's the best strategy for you. I would study at in the evening when my kids were in bed. I'm not a morning person. I tried waking up before my kids to study. I would wake up and stare at my books with my eyes half open because I was too tired. And so I would only study at nights. That's when I would have the most productive sessions, or sometimes at on my lunch break. That's when I could, and on weekends. Weekends helped a lot, right? So just play the hand you're dealt, make it work as much as you can with your partner.
Very good. You are very lucky to have the wife
Yes,
that
I
you
am.
have. So I
Yes, I
think
am.
part of that FSA goes to her too.
Oh yeah,
Um,
she said her name should have been on the diploma.
for sure,
Oh
for
man.
sure. So we have a couple minutes to answer one last question. I am graduating with a degree in actuarial science in December 2026, but have not passed any exams. I'm retaking exam P in January. What alternative career paths within the insurance industry are available for someone with an actuarial science degree who has not yet passed exams? How can I use a role in a different field, such as analyst or underwriter, as a stepping stone to an actuarial position?
That's so interesting. I mean, I started my career as a group benefits underwriter. So there are a lot of different roles that you can do with an actual degree, whether it's underwriting, whether it's data analytics, um, like just look up different careers in STEM, Google that, um, and you might fall into something that you're doing it, and you're like, you know what, I'm actually enjoying this a lot more uh, than I thought I would, and maybe you'll take a completely different path. Um, Life and writing exams and all of that, it's not linear. Like you might pivot somewhere and you might feel like, oh, I'm not on track or whatever, but life has a funny way of either bringing you back to where you should be or to take you somewhere that like you hadn't even thought of, that you're like, oh, you know what, this is actually even better than what I originally thought. I'm going to assume that I'm older than you because you're still studying. um, so give yourself some time. Like I know that when you're a student, you feel like, okay, like all of my life I've been a student, and so like life is almost over now that I'm studying my career. But like 17 years into my career now, I can tell you that like the start of your career is like you're just starting. So give yourself time, explore, try different roles. It's okay. And if you really are like adamant about wanting to try an actuarial role, just take whatever role you can get, and in your free time study for those exams and then keep on applying, right? Work experience is work experience, and if you have work experience and you have exams under your belt, you have a good shot at landing an actuarial role later. um, so that would be my advice to you.
Very good. Well, we managed to finish right on the dot on time.
Yeah.
I have tried to put some resources on the chat for everyone. If you are looking for somebody to guide you one-on-one. We have a mentorship program on as part of our affiliate membership. The affiliate membership is free, and everything in it is free. Also, this webinar the recording will be available at the affiliate membership library. Please make sure that you check it out. And there are a lot of other recordings on very interesting topics. And Teddy, sorry, has been very nice to include his email. If you want to ask him any questions after today, I also included my email. If you need anything from us, we love to hear from you. And again, thank you, Teddy. It was a pleasure. It's always so fun to see your energy and your passion for this this amazing career. And I will let you go and have a fantastic weekend watching Breaking Bad and not studying.
I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it. Thank you so much for everybody that participated. Thank you for having me again, Marissa. This was so fun. We should do this again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right.
Everyone,
Have a
thank
great
you
day,
so
everyone.
much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.